So I will be taking you guys through the application process at DCU. I think it's pretty straightforward. Obviously, yes, it's easy for me to say that because I've gone through this process. But hopefully, at the end of this presentation, you would have a lot more information and hopefully some answers to the questions that you have as well. So one of the first things that I would say is, before making your application, do some research. Again, for most of you, you're coming to apply for a master's program. So just spending a few minutes going through some of the pages on our website, doing some research to understand the program before making an application would go a long way to help you as well. And one of the best places to start that research would be PG Hub. This page has been specifically designed with all the informations that you would need to help with your journey at DCU. So it features information on our postgraduate courses. It has information on events that will be happening. There would be a keep in touch form as well that you can fill out if you have any questions, so you can get feedback or follow up from one of the regional advisors. There's also a lot of a link or information for international students. There's information as well on employability and career development. Obviously, we've gone through that with Venita on this one, and then there's testimonials as well from current students and so much more. So this would be a very, very handy place to go to get as much information as possible. Okay, and on the page, again, as I said, like there is information on, how to find courses. So I did a very quick screen recording just to show you how easy it is to, get information. So say, for example, like you're interested in a program, you can search that using the course finder. Once you click on that, it will take you to our program prospectus. Every single program that we have has a page similar to this one. So it has information about, the overview of the program, gives you insights into the careers and further options. And there's also more information about the entry requirements. Once you click on that entry requirement, you can get specific information about each of the program. I'll go a bit into detail in the next slide on what the general entry requirements are, but I would strongly urge that before you make an application, you go through this program prospectus. It has single thing that you would need to know about the particular program that you're interested in, to give information about the structure of the program. There's also information about how to apply as well. That's the next demo that I'll do. So when you scroll all the way down, you'd see information about how to make an application. There would be information about the deadlines as well. I'll go into detail about those in the next slide as well. Okay. So moving on to the entry requirements. Generally, most of our PG programs would require that students have a second class lower from a recognized university, but some of our programs would require that students have at least a second class upper. So it's always important to ensure that you meet the very specific entry requirements. So you see, for the program that I used as a demo in the last slide was for the MSc in computing. That one specifically requires that students have a second class upper in computer applications, computing, computer science. So always ensure that you meet that entry requirement first before you make an application. There's also the opportunity for students to apply through recognition of prior learning. This is a process that, I guess, takes in any formal accreditation or uncertified learning that you have gained, and you can learn more about it like in that link there. And most of our PG programs would require a personal statement. I'll go a bit into detail about the supplemental items in a subsequent slide, but some of them would require that you have a personal statement in the how to apply section for the program. Some of the programs would give you details about what exactly you need to include in that personal statement as well. And if English language is not your first language, you may be required to provide evidence of English language, through writing one of those English language tests as well. Okay. The deadlines generally for our programs for EU students, applications are open all the way up till the 31st of July. And for non-EU students, it's typically the 1st of July. Something very, very important to note is that some of our more popular programs may close well before that date. So if you are interested in any of our programs, I would urge you to try to make your applications as soon as you can. And again, before submitting an application, it's always very, very useful to consult that program perspectives page. I think I'm going to keep hammering that because, as I said, like that page has all the information that you would need. So if the program is still open, you would see something similar to what is on the screen there. It would say maybe non-EU applications open until first, but if it is closed, it will be updated to say that the program is closed. So it's always good to consult that page before making the application. And then the process to apply, again, all the applications will be made through our application portal. Again, you can find a link directly to that portal on the how to apply section in any of the program prospectus on our website. The very first step would just be to create an account. I'll go in detail into each of the steps. The next step would be to create an application. Then you need to pay your application fee, submit the application, and then upload your supplemental items as well. Typically, there's a €50 application fee that applies when you're making an application. So for the first step, you need to visit the portal. You would be greeted with a screen like this. So what you'd need to do would be to click on the create account that is just under the sign in button. And it will take you to this form. In this form, you need to just put in all your details. Please ensure that your full name matches the name on your passport or driver's license. Once you include this, you impute an email address. Please ensure that you use an email address that is active, that you monitor constantly. Also ensure that your date of birth is correct as well, because changing these details after you create an account would be pretty difficult. So it's always good to just be ensure that everything is correct when you are making the application. Next, after you create an account, you would now create an application. So on the portal, after you create an account, you'd see something like this. There would be information on start a new application. Once you click that, it will take you to this form. Again, some of those fields would be filled out, once you've created an account, like it would have information about your name and maybe some of the programs that you are interested in. But please ensure that you fill out all the required sections in all 5 tabs. So there would be a personal information tab, your study plans, qualifications, experience, and then there'll be a confirmation page. So ensure that you're filling out every single thing that is required as well. Sometimes when you get to, qualifications or experience, there might be, you might need to input information about the school, and sometimes maybe you might not see the school on the drop down. There would be a no school found button. Please click that and you can input the details manually as you go. Okay. Once you complete all 5 tabs, then you'll be greeted with this confirmation screen. You need to put your signature. Sometimes you can just put in your first or last name in there. Click on all the required tabs, and then you click submit. But for your application to be fully submitted, you must pay the application fee. As I said, there is a €50 application fee. All you just need to do is just click on that make online payment. It will take you to a tab where you can put in your card details. Once you input that and click pay, it would submit your application, but you are not done yet. The next step would be to upload all supplemental documents. This is very, very important, and this sometimes tends to lead to delays. So once you click on the submit in the confirmation tab, you would go into your portal, click on the application. On the application, you'd see like the name of the application or the program that you've applied for. And then on the status, it would say something like action required. Then you will be able to see a view button there, right? So once you click on that view button, it will tell you what supplemental documents you need to upload. In this instance, it's asking for passport and transcripts. You just click on the choose file, select the file from your computer, and click upload. Please ensure that you upload every single supplemental document, because failure to even include one of them can lead to delays. Like the admissions team will not be able to process the application until all the supplemental documents have been uploaded. So just to give you an idea of what some of the supplemental documents you might need to upload would be, you might need to upload your passport or driver's license. You might need to upload your transcript. So ensure that all of these documents are clear and in date. Ensure that you are uploading copies of the original and transcripts for every single year of study. These must be signed and stamped by the institution as well, or stamped by the institution. And if you are in your final year of your undergraduate degree, provisional transcripts would suffice as well. Okay. So these ones are core supplements. And then for international students, you might also need to upload your parchment or degree certificate as well. So these ones are very, very important. Other supplemental documents include your CV. So as part of the application, you may be required to submit a CV. You may also need to write a personal statement. Again, most times there will be information on what the personal statement should have. Some of them would give you details about like maybe the personal statement needs to be between 500 and 750 words. Please try to ensure that you stay within the word limit as well. And then you may also be required to upload a language certificate for international students who might need to do this in, English language exam. If you have not done the exam yet, but you want to submit the application, you can put in a Word document explaining that you plan to take the exam at a later date. Some of you might be able to upload a medium of instruction letter from your institution as well. That too could suffice, but it's always a good idea to upload something at least, so that way your application is in the on the line. So just ensure that you are uploading something there as well. Okay. Um, so after you upload all your supplemental documents, your application status would be updated to submitted. So please ensure to confirm that your application status is submitted. Sometimes you might upload all the supplemental documents. When the application, the admissions team goes to review, there might be like an issue with some of the supplemental documents. They might ask you or send it back, so that way you would see that it would update to action required again. So please ensure that you are checking this constantly as well. Okay. The next step, okay, so for students as well, like as part of the application, you are allowed to apply for up to 3 programs with one application fee. So if you want to submit multiple applications, after submitting your application, you'll be sent an email allowing you to apply for 2 additional programs. You would also get a waiver code in that email as well. Please ensure that you submit your applications in order of preference, as this is the order in which they will be assessed. So the way it works at DCU is if you make applications for 3 programs, the admissions team would prioritize your first preference application. Once you receive an offer for that first preference application, the other 2 would not be assessed. So it's unless you explicitly send an email to the admissions team stating that you'd like to be considered for the other two, and then you must withdraw from that first one before they would be assessed as well. So just to give you an insight into, the different types of status that you might encounter once you apply to DCU. So if you get a firm offer after submitting your application, that means you have met all the requirements for the offer. The next step would be to accept your offer, and you do that by going into the application portal and then clicking on respond now. Once you click on accept, it will take you to a page where you would need to pay a 500 euro deposit. Please ensure that you are paying that acceptance fee through the portal. Do not use TransferMate to make that application fee acceptance. It's always very, very important. The other status that you can have would be a conditional offer. So this one means that you might have outstanding conditions to meet. So say, for example, you apply without an English language exam. The admissions team has deemed that you have met some of the requirements, but they still need to see that English language exam. They might now issue you a conditional offer. Or if you are a final year student who has applied with provisional transcripts, they would give you a conditional offer pending when you have your final transcripts. Okay. The next status as well will be conditional acceptance. So again, you hold a conditional offer, but you have accepted and paid the 500 euros. Once you submit your supplemental documents, you would receive a firm offer, and then you need to just go into the portal to accept the offer. But once you have a conditional acceptance, you don't need to pay 500 euros again. Once you click on accept, it would automatically update to firm accept. Then there is unsuccessful. Unsuccessful means that you have applied for a program where you do not meet the entry requirements. Sometimes it doesn't mean that you wouldn't meet the entry requirements in general for DCU. It might mean that you might have applied for the wrong program. That's one of the reasons why I keep stressing that you confirm what the entry requirements are for the specific programs that you are interested in. Another status that you could get would be waiting list. So this indicates that the program is full, but you have been placed on a waiting list. So again, as I said, there are some programs that are really, really popular that could close a lot sooner, or they might reach the quota a lot quicker. So once you make an application, if you get waiting list, it means that you might get a place, but the program is currently full and you are on the waiting list. Another status would be interview. So some programs have an interview requirement. So once this is complete, your application will be changed to one of the above statuses. Okay. So just to give you quick insights into the offer holder timeline. So once you have an offer from DCU, the next step, as I said, would just be to accept your offer. The next step would be to work to arrange accommodation as well. Then you'd need to pay fees. So this would apply more to international students who would need to apply for a visa. So if you need to apply for a visa to come to Ireland, you need to pay your fees. So you need to pay at least 60% to 100% of your total tuition fee before you go and apply for your visa. Then you'd make your visa application. And then if your visa, particularly for non-EU students, is granted, you can register. This also applies to everyone else. So once you pay your fees, I'd say in September or October, you would receive email from the registry team to register as a student. Then you need to plan your arrival again for non-EU students if you do not live in Dublin. And then you need to attend the orientation, and then you might need to register with the immigration office as well. Okay. So I would leave this slide for a bit. If you have any queries regarding the admissions process, you can reach out. So for EU students, it's postgraduate admissions at dcu.ie. For international students, it is international admissions at dcu.ie. You can also scan that QR code now, and it will take you to the admissions page to get more information about making an application to DCU. Thank you so much for listening. I will pass it off to Frank now.